The massive alien ships appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. Their dark hulls blocked out the sun as they moved slowly through the clouds. People in the small farming towns below looked up and pointed, but nobody seemed scared. They acted like they had been expecting this visit. Commander Hyunwoo Kim stood in his simple brown uniform in the largest field outside Seoul. The corn was growing tall and green around him. He held a tablet in his hands and waited calmly as the biggest alien ship landed nearby. The ground shook, but Hyunwoo did not move. Behind him, other farmers in work clothes watched quietly. The alien ship was huge and made of black metal. Strange lights flashed along its sides. A door opened. With a loud hiss, and 3 creatures stepped out. They were tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 arms each. The leader wore bright red armor that covered most of his body. "I am War Marshal Thekvar of the Korvani Empire," the alien said in perfect English. His voice was deep and made the air vibrate. "We have come to claim this world for our empire. You will surrender now." Hyunwoo bowed politely like he was meeting a neighbor. "Welcome to Earth, honored visitors. I am Hyunwoo Kim, agricultural coordinator for this region. We are happy to meet you." The alien looked confused. He had expected fear, maybe weapons, certainly not a polite farmer. "You do not understand. We are here to conquer your planet. Your people will work for us now." "Oh, I see," Hyunwoo said with a gentle smile. "That sounds important. Would you like to see our farms first? We grow very good crops here. Maybe you would like some tea?" War Marshal Thekvar looked at his 2 companions. Scout Prime Veltar stepped forward and scanned Hyunwoo with a small device. "Sir, he shows no signs of fear. His heart rate is normal. This is strange." Dr. Sojin Park walked up from behind the corn rows. She wore a simple white lab coat and carried a basket of vegetables. "Hello," she said cheerfully. "I am the local agricultural scientist. These are our best tomatoes this season." She held up a large red tomato. Battlemaster Gexron, the 3rd alien, made an angry noise. "Are these humans stupid? Do they not understand that we have weapons that can destroy cities?" "Oh my," Sojin said, looking concerned. "That would be bad for the crops. The growing season just started. Would you like to see our seed storage facilities instead? We have been working on them for a very long time." War Marshal Thekvar decided to be more direct. "Listen carefully, humans. Our ships carry weapons beyond your understanding. We have conquered 50 worlds. You will give us 80% of everything your planet produces, or we will take it by force." Hyunwoo nodded like he was thinking about a difficult math problem. 80%. That is quite a lot. I will need to talk to the other regional administrators. Could you give us perhaps 72 hours to organize this?" The Phi alien commander laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "You think you can negotiate? Very well. 3 days. But do not try to fight us. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships." "Of course not," Hyunwoo agreed. "We are just farmers. But please, let us show you around while you wait. Captain, Do Hyun Lee has prepared some transport for you." He pointed to what looked like a normal farming truck. Captain Do Hyun Lee climbed out of the truck. He wore overalls and a wide hat like any farm worker. But when he moved, there was something different about him. He stood very straight, and his eyes watched everything. "Welcome, friends," he said. "I can show you our mining operations in the mountains. We dig for minerals to help our crops grow better." Scout Prime Veltar scanned the truck with his device. "The hull plating seems unusually thick for a civilian vehicle," he reported quietly to his commander. "These humans are primitive," War Marshal Thekvar said. "They probably use thick metal because they do not know how to make anything better." As they drove through the countryside, the aliens saw more of what looked like a simple farming world. There were fields of wheat and corn, small towns with wooden houses, and people working with basic tools. Everything seemed peaceful and backward, but Veltar kept getting strange readings on his scanner. "Sir, I am detecting unusual electromagnetic signatures from underground. The patterns are complex." "Probably natural minerals," Gexron said. "This planet has no advanced technology. Look at them. They use manual labor for everything." They stopped at what Sojin called a seed storage facility. It was a large concrete building built into a hillside. The walls were very thick. "We keep different types of seeds here," she explained. Some varieties need special conditions. We have been collecting seeds for many years. Some of our storage goes very deep underground." "How deep?" Veltar asked. Sojin thought for a moment. "Oh, about 15 levels down. Maybe 20. We like to be thorough. Would you like to see the surface level?" Inside, the building looked normal. There were rows of containers filled with what appeared to be seeds and grain, but the corridors seemed to go on for a long way, and there were more people working here than seemed necessary for a simple storage building. All of them had that same straight posture as Captain Do Hyun. "You have many workers," War Marshal Thekvar observed. "Agriculture is important work," Hyun Woo replied. "We take it very seriously. Admiral Ye Jin always says that proper planning prevents poor performance." "Admiral?" Veltar's ears perked up. "You have military ranks for farming?" "Oh, that is just a nickname," Hyun-woo laughed. "Ye Jin runs our weather monitoring station. She is very good at predicting storms. The farmers all respect her, so they call her Admiral." As they walked back to the alien ship, Veltar noticed something else. There were too many young, fit people working in the fields. Most farming communities had more old people and children. Here, almost everyone looked like they could run for miles without getting tired. "Sir," he whispered to War Marshal Thekvar, "something feels wrong about this place." "You worry too much," the commander replied. "These humans are clearly no threat. In 3 days, they will surrender, and we will add another easy conquest to our empire." That night, the aliens set up camp near their ship. They could see lights in the distance, probably from the human towns. Everything seemed quiet and normal. But deep underground, in places the aliens could not see, other lights were beginning to shine. Machines that had been sleeping for a long time were starting to wake up. In his small farmhouse, Hyun-woo Kim removed his simple clothes and put on a different uniform. This one was black and silver, with symbols that would have made the aliens very nervous if they had seen them. He picked up a communication device that definitely did not belong on a primitive farming world. "All stations. This is Earth Base. Command," he said quietly. "Arsenal protocol is now active. We have 72 hours. 50 meters below the cornfield where the aliens had landed, General Tae Min-yoon sat in a command center that stretched as far as the eye could see. Thousands of screens showed information from across the planet and beyond. Hundreds of people in military uniforms worked at stations filled with technology that made the alien ships look like toys. "Sir, all sectors report ready," said Colonel Eun-ji Seo. She stood next to a massive holographic display showing Earth and the space around it. The aliens thought they were looking at a simple farming world, but the display showed the truth. Weapons platforms disguised as space debris, underground cities housing billions of people, factory complexes that could build starships faster than most worlds could build cars. "Excellent," General Yoon said calmly. He was a small man with gray hair, but when he spoke, everyone listened. "How long since protocol activation?" 18 hours, sir. All hidden assets are coming online on schedule." The truth was that Earth had not been a farming world for over 2,000 years. It was the manufacturing heart of humanity's vast space. Empire. Every mountain contained factories. Every ocean hid shipyards. Every innocent-looking farm was actually a military base, disguised to fool exactly the kind of visitors now sleeping in their ship above. Dr. Young-Soo Kang walked over from his station. His official title was agricultural scientist, but his real job was designing weapons that could crack planets in half. "Sir, the Prometheus foundries are fully operational. We can begin production of anything you need." "What about the orbital platforms?" General Yoon asked. "Admiral Ye Jin reports. All satellite networks are active. The aliens still think they are looking at weather monitoring equipment." Young-Soo smiled. "They have no idea that we have enough firepower in orbit to glass their entire home system." Meanwhile, in the underground city beneath Seoul, engineer Haewon-young supervised the activation of production lines that had been dormant for centuries. Massive machines, each the size of a building, began to hum with power. These were the factories that supplied weapons to humanity's colonies across 200 star systems. "Bring up manufacturing line 7, she called out to her workers. "I want to show our guests something special." The machines began to work. In minutes, they produced weapons that existed only in theoretical physics. Gravity bombs that could crush a ship into a single atom. Energy shields that could stop a supernova. Ammunition that could travel through dimensions to hit targets on the other side of the galaxy. But these weapons stayed hidden. The aliens above saw only farmers working in peaceful fields. Captain Do-hyun Lee sat in what the aliens thought was his simple farming truck. In reality, it was a mobile command center connected to every military unit on the planet. His farming equipment in the truck bed could transform into weapons that would make the alien battleships run away screaming. "Base, this is Mobile Command," he reported. "The visitors are asking many questions. Scout Prime Veltar is getting suspicious about our electromagnetic readings." "Let him be suspicious," came General Yoon's voice through the radio. "In 54 hours, it will not matter what they think." Above ground, Hyun-woo continued his performance as a simple farmer. He met with the aliens again, bringing them fresh bread and talking about crop rotation. But his real job was keeping them distracted, while the most powerful military force in the galaxy prepared for war. "Your bread is good," War Marshal Thekvar said, though he seemed less confident than the day before. "But we have detected strange energy readings from your planet. What do you have underground?" "Oh, that," Hyun-woo said, acting embarrassed. "We have some old mining equipment down there. It has been broken for years, but sometimes it still makes noise. We should fix it. But we farmers are not very good with complicated machines." This was not exactly a lie. There was indeed mining equipment underground. It was just that the mining equipment could strip mine an entire moon in about 6 hours and was currently being prepared to manufacture antimatter in case the aliens decided to be difficult. Dr. Sojin Park joined them. For lunch, she had brought more vegetables from her garden. "I hope you like our tomatoes," she said sweetly. "We use a special growing method, very old techniques passed down for generations." The special growing method involved hydroponic systems powered by fusion reactors and computer programs that could calculate the perfect growing conditions for any plant in the galaxy. The old techniques were actually agricultural science so advanced that they could grow forests on dead worlds. "Tell me about your weather station," Scout Prime Veltar said suddenly. "The one run by your admiral." "Admiral Yejin? Oh, she is wonderful with weather predictions," Sojin replied. "She always knows exactly when storms are coming. Sometimes she can predict weather patterns for entire seasons." Admiral Yejin Choi was indeed very good at predicting weather. Her weather station was actually a command ship the size of a small city, disguised to look like a simple building on a hillside. It contained computers that could predict the movement of every atom in a solar system. If she wanted to, she could create weather, not just predict it. As the second day passed, more signs appeared that this was not a normal farming world. The aliens noticed that the humans never seemed surprised by anything. When told that the Corvani Empire had conquered 50 worlds, the humans just nodded like someone had mentioned the weather. When shown pictures of destroyed cities on other planets, the humans looked sad but not scared. "These people act like they have seen worse things than us," Battlemaster Gexron muttered to his companions. They had. Humanity had been fighting wars among the stars for over a millennium. They had defeated enemies that made the Corvani Empire look like children playing with toys. But the aliens did not need to know that yet. Underground, Colonel Yunji was coordinating with human fleets across the galaxy. "Phoenix Squadron, this is Earth Base. Are you in position?" "Affirmative, Earth Base. We are holding at the edge of the system. Alien reinforcements will not be a problem." "Understood. Dragon Fleet report." "Dragon Fleet standing by. We have 50 dreadnoughts ready to move if needed." "Copy that. Remember, people, these aliens started this by demanding tribute from Earth. Let them see what happens when you threaten humanity's home." The alien scout ship continued to scan Earth, but their technology could not penetrate the sophisticated camouflage systems that hid humanity's true capabilities. They saw farms where there were weapon factories. They saw simple buildings where there were military academies. They saw a primitive civilization where there was actually the most advanced technological society in the galaxy, but time was running out. In 24 hours, the aliens would expect their answer. They thought they would receive the surrender of a helpless farming world. Instead, they were about to learn why Earth was called the arsenal of humanity. General Yoon stood looking at the countdown timer on the main screen. 24 hours and 17 minutes remaining. Around him, the command center buzzed with activity as the final preparations were made. "Sir," Colonel Yoonji reported, "all systems show green across the board. We are ready." "Good," the general said quietly. "Signal all stations. Begin final phase preparations. It is time to show our guests who they have really been talking to." Above them, the aliens slept peacefully in their ship, still believing they had found an easy conquest. They had no idea that they were sleeping on top of the most dangerous planet in the known universe. The third day dawned gray and cloudy. War Marshal Thekvar stood outside his ship, growing impatient. The humans had promised an answer in 72 hours, and time was almost up. But something felt wrong. His ship's sensors were detecting massive energy buildups across the planet, far beyond what a primitive farming world should be capable of producing. "Scout Prime, report," he commanded. Veltar looked worried as he studied his scanning device. "Sir, the energy readings are off the charts. Whatever is down there, it is using power equivalent to our entire battle fleet. And the readings are coming from everywhere. Every farm, every small town, every mountain." "That is impossible, Battlemaster," Gexron snarled. "These humans barely have spaceflight. They cannot be hiding advanced technology." But they were. And in exactly 37 minutes, the masquerade would end. Underground, General Yoon watched the countdown timer reach its final hour. "All stations, this is command. Begin surface deployment. Let our guests see who they are really dealing with." Across the planet, things that had been hidden for centuries began to emerge. In the fields around Seoul, what looked like ordinary farming equipment suddenly unfolded into towering war machines. Tractors became tanks. Irrigation systems revealed themselves as weapons platforms. Grain silos opened to show missile launchers that could hit targets on the other side of the galaxy. War Marshal Thekvar felt his ship shake as something massive moved beneath the ground. Through his view screen, he watched in growing horror as the peaceful farm fields split open. A structure the size of a mountain began to rise from the earth. It was covered in weapons that made his battleship's cannons look like children's toys. "What is that thing?" Gexron whispered. Before anyone could answer, Hyunwoo's voice came over their communication system. But this time, he did not sound like a simple farmer. His voice was calm, professional, and carried the authority of someone used to commanding fleets. "War Marshal Thekvar, this is Commander Hyunwoo Kim of the Earth Defense Force. I believe you wanted our answer regarding your tribute demands." You are not a farmer," Thekvar said, his voice shaking. "Actually, I am quite good with crops," Hyunwoo replied, "but I am also a military commander. We tried to handle this situation diplomatically, but you seem to prefer threats. Very well. Let me introduce you to some friends." The small building on the distant hillside that the aliens had been told was a weather station suddenly began to change. Sections of the hills slid away to reveal a starship that dwarfed anything in the Corvani fleet. It was sleek, black, and covered in weapons that seemed to bend light around them. Admiral Yejin's voice came over the radio, crisp and professional. "This is Admiral Yejin Choi, commanding the Earth Defense Ship Prometheus. Marshal Thekvar, you are surrounded. Power down your weapons and prepare to receive terms." "Impossible!" Gexron shouted. "Your technology is centuries behind ours." In response, Admiral Yejin fired one shot. It was not aimed at the alien ship, but at a large asteroid in Earth's orbit. The weapon moved faster than light and hit with such power that the asteroid simply ceased to exist. It did not explode or break apart. One moment it was there, the next moment there was only empty space. "Your move," the Admiral said politely. War Marshal Thekvar realized that everything he thought he knew was wrong. The primitive humans had weapons that could delete matter from existence. The simple farmers were actually military commanders. The backward planet was armed with technology that made his empire's finest weapons look like stone knives, but his pride would not let him back down. "All ships, attack formation. Destroy these humans before they can use more of their tricks." The Corvani fleet, 20 warships strong, powered up their weapons and prepared to fire on Earth. It was the worst mistake they had ever made. The response was immediate and overwhelming. What the aliens had thought was empty space around Earth suddenly filled with human ships, hundreds of them, each larger and more advanced than anything the Corvani had ever seen. They had been there all along, hidden behind technology that made them invisible. Captain Do-hyun's farming truck suddenly transformed. The vehicle stretched and unfolded until it became a mobile fortress, bristling with weapons. Similar transformations were happening all across the planet as Earth's true defenses revealed themselves. All ships, this is Earth Command. General, Yoon's voice echoed across all frequencies. Defend the home world. Show them what happens when someone threatens humanity's birthplace. The battle was over before it began. The Corvani weapons fired at Earth's defenders, but the shots simply bounced off shields that could stop exploding suns. In response, the human weapons fired once. Each shot was perfectly aimed, precisely controlled, and absolutely devastating. Every Corvani ship was hit in its engine compartment, leaving them powerless but alive. "Cease fire," Admiral Ye-jin commanded. "We are not murderers. Scan for survivors." Dr. So-jin's voice came over the communication system, still sweet, but no longer pretending to be helpless. "Oh, dear Marshal. I hope your people are not hurt. Would you like me to send medical teams? Our agricultural research includes some very advanced healing techniques." Young-Soo's voice joined the conversation. "Marshal Tekvar, I should mention that those were our smallest weapons. Would you like to see what we use for serious threats?" The answer was a terrified no from all three alien commanders. War Marshal Tekvar's ship was damaged, but intact. Through his cracked view screen, he could see the true Earth for the first time. Cities that stretched from horizon to horizon, all of them previously hidden underground, orbital stations the size of moons, disguised as space debris, weapons platforms that could be seen from space, now that there was no point in hiding them. "How?" he whispered. "How did we not know?" Hyun-woo's voice answered, gentle but firm. "Because we did not want you to know. Earth is not just humanity's homeworld, Marshal. It is our primary military production center. Everything you have seen on the surface was designed to hide what lies beneath. The farms are real farms. We do grow excellent crops, but the real purpose of this planet is to manufacture the weapons and ships that protect human space. Every primitive farming community you visited sits on top of factories that produce more military hardware in a day than your entire empire builds in a year." Scout Prime Veltar finally understood. "The electromagnetic readings, the energy signatures. You were not trying to hide them from us. You were testing us." "Very good," General Yoon's voice said approvingly. "Every species that approaches Earth faces the same test. Those who come in peace discover that humanity can be the greatest ally they ever imagined. Those who come with threats of conquest learn why we have remained free for over 2,000 years. The massive weapons platforms around Earth began to power down, but they remained visible. The message was clear. This was only a small taste of what Earth could do if truly threatened. "Now then," Hyun-woo said, his voice becoming businesslike, "let us discuss your future. You have three choices, Marshal. You can continue to fight and be destroyed. You can leave and never return. Or you can stay and learn what it means to be humanity's friend instead of humanity's enemy." War Marshal Tekvar looked at his ruined fleet, at the impossible weapons pointed at him from every direction, at the planet that had revealed itself to be the most dangerous world he had ever encountered. For the first time in his military career, he prepared to surrender. War Marshal Tekvar stared at his broken fleet through the cracked view screen of his command ship. 20 proud Corvani warships now drifted helplessly in space, their engines destroyed by weapons he could not understand. But his pride burned, stronger than his fear. "This cannot be," he muttered. "We are the Corvani Empire. We have conquered 50 worlds. We do not surrender to primitive farmers." Scout Prime Veltar tried to reason with his commander. "Sir, their technology is clearly superior to ours. Perhaps we should consider their offer of surrender." "Never," Tekvar roared. "Signal all ships. Prepare emergency weapons. If we are going to die, we will take some of these humans with us." Was exactly the wrong decision. General Yoon watched from his underground command center as the alien ships began charging their backup weapon systems. He shook his head sadly. They never learn. Colonel Yunji, show them what Earth looks like. When we stop being polite. With pleasure, sir. The transformation that followed was beyond anything the Corvani could have imagined. The peaceful countryside they had admired for 3 days vanished like smoke. In its place stood the true face of Earth, the most heavily armed planet in the galaxy. Mountains split open to reveal cannon barrels the size of subway tunnels. Lakes drained away to show massive missile silos hidden beneath the water. Even the clouds in the sky began to move in patterns that revealed them to be camouflaged weapons platforms. But that was just the beginning. Admiral Ye Jin's ship, the Prometheus, had seemed large when it first appeared. Now, it revealed its true size as additional sections unfolded from underground. The final vessel was over 20 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could crack continents. And it was not alone. Earth Fleet. This is Admiral Ye Jin. All ships, reveal positions. Space around Earth filled with human warships. Not hundreds, as the aliens had seen before, but thousands. Each one was larger than anything the Corvani Empire had ever built. They materialized from nowhere, their cloaking systems deactivating in perfect synchronization. War Marshal Tekvar felt his legs give out. "How many ships do you have?" he whispered. "Around Earth?" "About 12,000, Hyun-woo answered calmly. "This is just our home defense fleet. Would you like to know how many ships humanity has in total?" "No," Tekvar said quickly. 57,438,612. General Yoon said anyway. "That number goes up by about 300 every day." "Earth's shipyards are very efficient." Engineer Haewon's voice joined the conversation from her underground factories. "Speaking of efficiency, we have been building your replacements while you were thinking about fighting us. Every ship in your fleet, but with human technology instead of Corvani. They are much better. Would you like to see them?" Before Tekvar could say no, space near Earth's moon filled with ships identical to his fleet, but gleaming with new technology. They moved with perfect precision, their weapons powered down but clearly visible. "We built those in 18 hours, Haewon continued proudly. "We had to work slowly because we did not want to use all of our production capacity. We have other orders to fill." Dr. Young-soo decided to add his own demonstration. From his weapons research facility, he launched a single small probe. To the aliens, it looked harmless, like a tiny metal ball. But when it reached a point far from Earth, it exploded with the power of a dying star. "Antimatter warhead," Young-soo explained cheerfully. "That was one of our smaller ones. The big ones can destroy solar systems. We try not to use those unless we really have to." Scout Prime Veltar was frantically trying to scan the human ships, desperate to understand their technology. What he found made no sense. "Sir, their energy readings are impossible. Some of these ships appear to be powered by artificial black holes. Others are using energy sources I cannot identify." "Dimensional taps," Dr. Sojin explained helpfully. "We draw power directly from other universes, much cleaner than nuclear fusion. Better for the environment." War Marshal Tekvar realized that his empire had not simply attacked a primitive world. They had declared war on a technological civilization that made them look like cave dwellers. But still, his pride would not let him surrender. "Fire all remaining weapons," he ordered. "If we cannot win, we can at least die with honor." The Corvani ships unleashed everything they had left. Plasma cannons, fusion missiles, gravity bombs, all the most advanced weapons their civilization had ever created. The assault that could have destroyed continents on any normal world struck Earth's defenses and accomplished absolutely nothing. The human shields absorbed the attack without even dimming. Admiral Ye Jin's voice came over the radio, sounding slightly bored. "Are you finished? Because we have not even started yet." What happened next would be remembered in Corvani history as the day their empire learned humility. The human ships did not fire their planet-killing weapons or reality-warping cannons. Instead, they demonstrated their power in ways that made their technological superiority impossible to ignore. Captain Do-hyun's mobile fortress reached out with a beam of blue light and gently picked up one of the disabled Corvani ships. The light seemed to repair the alien vessel even as it held it, fixing the battle damage and upgrading the engines with technology centuries beyond anything the aliens understood. Your ship is now faster and stronger than it was before you attacked us, Do-hyun explained. We fixed the design flaws in your engines and added some improvements. Consider it a gift. Other human ships began similar demonstrations. They reached across impossible distances to reorganize matter at the atomic level. They opened doorways in space that allowed their weapons to strike targets on the other side of the galaxy. They manipulated time itself, showing the aliens glimpses of their own possible futures. "This is what happens if you keep fighting us," General Yoon said as images appeared on every Corvani screen. The visions showed the complete destruction of the Corvani Empire, their worlds burning, their people extinct. And this is what happens if you choose peace. The second set of images showed Corvani worlds transformed into paradise. Cities of gleaming crystal, farms that could feed billions, technology that could cure any disease. The Corvani people lived in prosperity beyond their wildest dreams, protected by humanity's vast fleets. "The choice is yours," Hyunwoo said simply. War Marshal. Tekvar looked at his ruined fleet, at the impossible weapons pointed at him, at the visions of his people's future. For the first time in his military career, he understood what it meant to be completely outmatched. But the humans were not finished with their demonstration. Admiral Ye Jin's voice filled the space around Earth with quiet authority. "Marshal, you should know that this encounter has happened many times before. 47 different species have approached Earth with conquest on their minds. 46 of them chose to join humanity's alliance after seeing what we could do. One chose to keep fighting. What happened to them?" Veltar asked nervously. "They do not exist anymore," the Admiral said simply. "We gave them every chance to reconsider. They refused. We removed them from the galaxy to protect everyone else." The message was clear. Humanity was not cruel, but they were utterly ruthless when threatened. They would offer peace, friendship, and prosperity to anyone willing to accept it. But those who insisted on violence would be eliminated with the same efficient precision they brought to everything else. War Marshal Tekvar made his decision. With shaking hands, he activated his ship's communication system. "Earth Defense Force, this is War Marshal Tekvar of the Corvani Empire. We surrender unconditionally." The great command center beneath Earth fell silent as War Marshal Tekvar's words echoed through the speakers. After 3 days of deception and demonstration, the Corvani Empire had finally chosen surrender over destruction. General Yoon nodded. Slowly, his expression neither pleased nor disappointed. This was simply how these encounters always ended. "Very wise, Marshal," Hyunwoo said over the communication system. "Prepare to be brought aboard our flagship. We have much to discuss." Within minutes, beams of light transported the 3 alien commanders from their damaged ship to Admiral Ye Jin's vessel. They found themselves in a conference room that was larger than their entire command bridge, surrounded by technology they could not begin to understand. Admiral Ye Jin stood to greet them. She was smaller than they had expected, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and graying hair. But when she spoke, her voice carried the authority of someone who commanded fleets that could reshape galaxies. "Welcome aboard the Prometheus," she said politely. "Please sit, we have refreshments prepared." The refreshments turned out to be foods from the Corvani homeworld, perfectly prepared despite being grown on Earth. War Marshal Tekvar stared at the familiar fruits and vegetables in shock. "How do you have our food?" Dr. Sojin smiled from her seat at the conference table. "We have been monitoring your empire for over 200 years, Marshal. We know your culture, your language, your favorite dishes. We even have several of your people living on Earth as voluntary ambassadors." "That is impossible. We have never sent ambassadors to your primitive world." "You sent them to our advanced colonies," General Yoon corrected gently. "They requested to visit Earth to study our agricultural techniques. We were happy to accommodate them. They have been sending reports back to your government for decades, though I suspect those reports were ignored." Scout Prime Veltar's mind was reeling. "You have been watching us for centuries?" "We watch everyone," Admiral Ye Jin confirmed. "It is our responsibility. You see, Marshal, what you discovered today is not actually Earth's greatest secret. Our weapons, our technology, our military might, These are all secondary to our real purpose. Hyunwoo activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy. Thousands of stars were marked in different colors. Blue stars represented human colonies. Green stars showed species allied with humanity. Red stars indicated aggressive,